Hey friends, today I'm going to talk about why privacy is a viable business model and why more businesses should adopt privacy in their services and their products. So first of all, privacy is sustainable. There's not much risk in having some regulation or some law suddenly say that protecting your users' privacy is illegal. There are some cases where the government is against encryption, but overall, I think just adopting privacy as a general business model is a good thing uh, because it eliminates risk both for your customers and for your business. So instead of having boatloads of data about the individuals that interact with your business, you're going to have less information that could possibly get hacked or stolen. You're not going to have to worry about privacy laws changing and you having to either get rid of that information or pay your users or some ridiculous thing like that. And then privacy is also just a value that people, as more data breaches happen on a regular basis, people will see the value in privacy and be more willing to use your product if they're convinced that it's private and they're not going to have their information stolen. Um, some examples of privacy focused companies that I think are doing a good job. The biggest one is obviously Apple. Now, they've had problems in the past where people have criticized their privacy measures or their privacy practices, and those are valid. But the company is one of the biggest in the world, and they're dedicated, at least on the surface, to protecting users' privacy. So what they've done to do this is implement encryption on all their hardware and on their operating systems so that if governments want to monitor you, they can't access your data. The biggest example of this was the FBI approached them about some like the San Bernardino shooter or something, and Apple actually turned them down and said, "Sorry, we're not going to give you access because that sets a precedent that anybody can access information about our users, and we don't want that." So that's pretty interesting that such a large company is willing to dedicate some resources to protecting users' privacy. Another one is DuckDuckGo. It's just a private search engine. Um, and that's pretty much its only value proposition is privacy. It obviously has some other features that are interesting, but at the end of the day, why not just use Google? And DuckDuckGo has been able to convince people to use its private search engine just by, talking about privacy and sharing information about why it's important to protect your privacy online. There's a lot of other ones like VPNs, for example, and not all of those are perfect. VPNs are great. Password management tools, they're super helpful. There's a lot of privacy tools out there if you just research it a little bit, and I think you'll be pleased with the user experience that you get. This used to be a problem with privacy tools, is that it might protect your privacy, but you'd have to go through some ridiculous setup process. But now most tools have realized that people aren't willing to do that. So there's a lot of privacy tools out there that have sustained themselves, so they're obviously making some money. And I think it's important to try these tools out at least and just have a knowledge of what's out there and not just get stuck using the same tools that everybody else is using. So I just recommend trying out some privacy focused products like ghostpeak.com. It's a private search engine. Maybe try out a VPN like ExpressVPN just to see if you like the experience. And yeah, let me know what you think.